morning and welcome. My name is Sonia Lowen and I'm the Chairman of Debating SA. We have been coming to the chambers here in Parliament House since 2006 and I've never become accustomed to it. Every time I come here I still find it very awe-inspiring, and so I think it's a very suitable venue for the debaters today for their grand final. So congratulations to both teams. We know that you had to work very hard and there were a lot of debates all at once coming very quickly. So you've done a magnificent job. It shows a lot of self-discipline, and congratulations for arriving here today. So good luck to both teams. Thank you.
Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to the 2025 Year 8 Division Debating Essay Grand Final Debate. My name is Leah Gann and I am the chairman of this debate. The timekeeper is Martina Cavallo. The topic of this debate is that Australia should implement an opt-out system for organ donation. The affirmative team seated to my right is from Emmaus Christian College, consisting of first speaker Diana Lee, second speaker Mia Fontana Rosa, and third speaker Cara Miller. The negative team seated to my left is from St. Michael's College, consisting of first speaker Teddy Kipshook, second speaker Isaac Zonta, and third speaker Olivia Stavridis. This grand final debate will be judged by a panel of 5 adjudicators, who are Mr. Luke Barnett, Mr. Rupen Visser, Miss Perina Bra, Miss Eva Harris, and Miss Charlie Caldwell. The speaking time of this debate is 4 minutes. A single warning bell will sound at 3 minutes. And a double bell will sound at 4 minutes. A continuous bell may be run 30 seconds after the speaking time, in which case the speaker must sit down immediately. Please switch off your mobile phones and other electronic devices. I declare this debate open and I call upon the first affirmative speaker, Diana Lee.
Good morning, Madam Chairman, ladies and gentlemen. The topic for this debate is that Australia should implement an opt-out system for organ donation. We, the affirmative team, strongly believe that this statement is true. We define the topic as should to mean there is a practical obligation to act, not just that it's optional. To implement means to pass legislation. An opt-out system for organ donation is where every person is considered a donor of vital organs after death by default to save the lives of patients needing transplant, unless they choose not or cannot be. As the first speaker, I will be talking to you about how an opt-out system will save more lives and how it educates and raises awareness. Our second speaker will be talking to you about how many organ donors don't have time to get around registration and the benefits to the economy. Our third speaker will rebut and sum up our team case. My first point is that an opt-out system saves more lives. Right now in Australia, there are over 1,800 people on the transplant waiting list, and tragically, many die before a match is even found, as reported by Transport Australia. In the US alone, around 17 people die every day due to organ donor shortages. The current number of donors is simply not enough to support the suffering patients. But then, how exactly can we support all these people? Well, the opt-out system provides just that. Spain introduced an opt-out system in 1979 and has since held the world #1 organ donor for over 3 decades, as WHO and BMJ states. Additionally, according to the NHS, Wales, after introducing an opt-out system, saw an increase in donation consent rates from 58% to 68%. This proves that making donation the default leads to more available organs and thus more lives saved. My second point is that implementing the opt-out system educates and spreads awareness. In an educational aspect, An experiment carried out by the Journal of Clinical and Diagnostic Research found that after being educated on organ donation, an additional 15% of recipients expressed willingness to donate. This proves that education plays a crucial role in shaping attitudes. The opt-out system helps spark that learning and awareness. Furthermore, defaulting to organ donation leads to more open family discussions about individual choices. According to the European Commission's report on organ donation, countries with opt-out systems that combine legislation with public awareness campaigns see more family discussion and conversation. For example, the opted-out country, Portugal, showed that over 75% of families had talked about donation preferences, as surveys conducted by the Portuguese Directorate General for Health states. This demonstrates that opt-out systems don't just change the law, they start conversations, they spread awareness, and they educate the public so that ultimately more lives can be saved. In conclusion, Madam Chairman, ladies and gentlemen, as psychologist and mentor Gita Jacob once said, "I don't want to be buried with a single organ in my body. Give them to a child that has spent more time inside the hospital than outside playing." These words remind us that organ donation is the gift of life, a chance for someone else to live, laugh, and grow. Thank you.
I call upon the first negative speaker, Teddy Kipchuk.
Good morning, Madam Chairman, adjudicators, ladies and gentlemen. The topic for this morning's debate is that Australia should implement an opt-out system for organ donation. We agree with the definition given by the Affirmative team. However, we strongly disagree with this statement. The first speaker from the Affirmative team has tried to tell you that an opt-out system will save more lives by increasing the number of donations. The burden shifts unfairly. Instead of affirming a choice to donate, people must actively defend their right not to. This change can confuse and pressure individuals, especially those who struggle with digital forms. Furthermore, the Australian Government Organ and Tissue Authority states that only 2% of people who die in hospitals can donate their organs. This is a matter of people passing the criteria to donate the organs, such as a person dying in a hospital while on a ventilator in intensive care. Do you really think that an opt-out system will help more people pass this criterion? Today's first speaker, I'll be framing the current issues with organ donation, along with raising concerns about bodily autonomy and consent. Our second speaker will be talking to you about how Australia should focus on the role of families and the ineffectiveness of opt-out laws, along with technology and alternative strategies, not ineffective opt-out laws. Our third speaker will rebut and sum up our team case. Firstly, an opt-out system won't increase the number of organs donated. Therefore, we should look at other techniques. Let's start by framing the problem. Organ donors in Australia are currently scarce. A fact sheet provided by the Australian Government Organ and Tissue Authority states that only 2% of people who die in Australian hospitals can even be considered as organ donors. This is not a question of consent, but a fact that there are fewer than 2% of people who are even eligible to donate their organs. There is a certain criterion people need to pass to be seen as suitable for this. An opt-out system won't guarantee people meet the criteria and therefore will not raise the number of organs currently available by any realistic amount. This makes an opt-out system ineffective in raising the number of organ donors, as the number of donors is not the issue and the reason why Australia should not implement it. Now to my second point, talking about the consent and autonomy concerns involved with the opt-out system. Just to make things clear, there are some ethical and consent concerns involved with implementing the opt-out system. According to the Australian Government National Health and Medical Research Council, valid consent for a decision about donating cells, tissues, and organs, requires a decision maker to have a decision-making capacity, including the ability to communicate their decision, is making a voluntary decision without undue influence, manipulation, or deceit, and has received and understood sufficient information that is relevant to the informed decision, including the risks and benefits of relevant interventions and available alternatives if relevant. The opt-out system does not follow these ethical guidelines of consent and therefore should not be implemented. So, in conclusion, Madam Chairman, adjudicators, ladies and gentlemen, we strongly believe that Australia should not implement an opt-out system for organs due to many ethical and logical reasons, such as concerns raised about consent and public mistrust, and the real problem not being people opting in. Informed consent is a fundamental principle in ethics and law, emphasizing the importance of individuals being fully informed before agreeing to any procedure, decision, or action. Would you rather make a conscious decision about what happens to your body when you die, or would you like the government to automatically presume consent to be an organ donor? Thank you.
I call upon the second affirmative speaker, Mia Fontana Rosa.
Good morning, Madam Chairman, ladies and gentlemen. The topic for this debate is that Australia should implement an opt-out system for organ donation. We, the affirmative team, strongly believe that this statement is true. The first negative speaker has tried to tell you that opt-out won't guarantee higher donations, but that ignores clear international data. According to the British medical journal Open, countries with opt-out systems have 21 to 26% higher deceased donor rates than opt-in countries. Spain, which has had an opt-out system since 1979, reported that 132.8 transplants per million in 2024 compared to Australia's 21.8 per million. If other nations are saving thousands more lives with this change, why should Australia be left waiting? The first negative speaker has also tried to tell you that opt-out takes away freedom of choice, but opt-out still allows anyone to withdraw at any time and families still remain involved. A gov.scot review found that opt-out retains individual choice and ensures family involvement. England's Department of Health and Social Care confirmed no evidence that the new opt-out law reduced autonomy or consent. And Noble Launches Thaler and Sustain showed defaults guide behaviour without removing freedom. If freedom is preserved and more lives are saved, why would we reject it? As our first speaker highlighted, an opt-out system not only saves more lives, but also raises vital awareness and understanding. As the second speaker, I will be talking to you about how many willing organ donors don't have the time to register and about the economic and healthcare benefits. Our third speaker will rebut and sum up our team's case. My first point is that not many people have the time to register. The Be a Donor reports that 90% of Australians support donation, yet only 35% are registered. That's almost half the population who are willing, but who never officially record it. This isn't a lack of care, it's a lack of convenience. A study in BMJ Open found that opt-out captures the wishes of the supportive majority while preserving the right to say no. The Organ and Tissue Authority confirmed in 2024 that over 1,400 Australians are on the waiting list, with more than 100 passing each year before a match is found. Meanwhile, in Wales, as our first speaker has already stated, after introducing the soft opt-out in 2015, NHS Blood and Transplant reported family consent rates rose 10% within 2 years. My second point is that moving to opt-out doesn't just save lives, it also saves billions in healthcare costs, especially around chronic kidney disease. According to Biomed Central, chronic kidney disease affects 1.7 million Australians and causes nearly 2,000 deaths each year, costing the system 8.3 billion Australian dollars annually. Dialysis is one of the biggest costs, at 85,000 to 124,000 Australian dollars per patient per year, while kidney transplant is far more cost-effective and improves survival. The AIHW reported in 2022 that 938 kidney transplants were performed, and more than 13,500 Australians now live with functioning kidney transplants, a 1.4-fold increase over the past decade. And the benefits aren't just medical. Monash University found that preventing just 10% of new kidney disease cases between 2020 and 2029 could save 1.1 billion Australian dollars in GDP and thousands of work years. So in conclusion, Madam Chairman, ladies and gentlemen, an opt-out system would suit Australia to its best interest. As academic author and psychologist Emma Abram once quotes, "After I die, if I'm buried, I'll rot. If I'm burnt, I'll become ash. But if my body is donated, I'll give life to many." If we have the power to save lives with such a simple change, shouldn't we do just that? Thank you.
I call upon the second negative speaker, Isaac Zonta.
Good morning, Madam Chairman, ladies and gentlemen. The topic of our debate is that Australia should implement an opt-out system for organ donation. We, the negative team, strongly believe that this statement is false. The second speaker of the affirmative team has tried to tell you that it's just paperwork. If you don't have the time to donate, then opt out. Even though it sounds simple, this is wrong because in reality, people forget, don't understand, or never hear about it. Vulnerable groups such as the elderly, people with limited English, or those with cultural sensitivities may end up donating without ever knowing they were enrolled. That's not true consent, it's neglect. They have also said that most Australians support donation, so we should assume consent. This isn't the case because supporting the idea of donation is not the same as giving personal, informed consent. People may support it in surveys, but still want the choice for themselves or have religious reasons. Consent must be active, not assumed. Our first speaker has already framed the problem, stating that less than 2% of people who die in Australian hospitals are suitable for organ donation, which proves that the issue is medical limitations, not whether we have an opt-in or opt-out system. He has also talked about the consent and right to someone's body. Today I will be talking to you about 2 points. My first point is that Australia should focus on the role of families and the ineffectiveness of opt-out laws. Even in countries with opt-out laws, families remain the ultimate decision makers. According to donatelife.gov.au, even if someone is registered as a donor, donation will not proceed if the family objects. In Australia, last year, only about 53% of families consented, meaning nearly half of potential donations were blocked at bedside. Changing the law won't magically fix this. Families are still the gatekeepers. Organ donation is not only a medical process, but is deeply emotional. A study published in Clinical Transplantation found that the younger the deceased and the sooner the donation occurred after death, the stronger the grief felt by family. Opt-out laws do nothing to address this emotional complexity and could even increase family distress. Even legal documents are limited. Goodgrief.com.au reports that when families are aware of the deceased's wishes, 9 out of 10 will consent. But when they are unaware, only about 4 out of 10 will consent. Susan Littleton Lawyers.com.au notes that advanced care directives and wills have limitations, and families may override wishes due to grief or uncertainty. Trust in the system is essential. A study in BMC medical ethics highlights that people are more willing to donate when they trust hospitals, medical professionals and policymakers. Opt-out risks backfiring if families feel unsure whether their loved ones' bodies will be respected. Now to my second point. Australia should focus on technology and alternative strategies, not an ineffective opt-out law. According to National Health and Medical Research Council, some organs like kidneys can be donated by living people. Lifeblood.com.au explains that stem cells can be used to treat diseases such as blood cancers. Research from ucsf.edu and popsci.com shows scientists are developing temporary and mechanical organs like artificial hearts and kidneys to keep patients alive until a transplant. An example of this is the mechanical heart designed by Daniel Timms and has been called the Holy Grail since it cannot fail or be rejected by the body. Though it may not keep a person alive, it extends their life so that a suitable organ can be found from a person that has actively chosen to consent. Finally, growing organs offers the most exciting future. These breakthroughs promise a future where we won't need to rely on grieving families for consent at all. So, Madam Chairman, ladies and gentlemen, in conclusion, families remain the ultimate decision makers. Technology also offers far more effective solutions. For these reasons, we, the Negative team, firmly believe that Australia shouldn't implement an opt-out system for organ donation. Thank you for listening, and I hope you have a great day.
I call upon the third affirmative speaker, Cara Miller.
Good morning, Madam Chairman, ladies and gentlemen. The topic for this debate is that Australia should implement an opt-out system for organ donation. We, the Affirmative team, strongly believe that this statement is undoubtedly true. Today, as the third speaker, I will rebut and sum up my team's case. The first negative speaker has claimed that the opt-out system pressures individuals to donate, but evidence shows otherwise. According to the European Federation for Organ Donation, in countries like Spain and Austria, where opt-out models have been in place for years, individuals can easily register their decision not to donate, and their wishes are legally upheld. These systems are typically supported by public awareness campaigns and accessible opt-out mechanisms, ensuring that people remain fully in control of their decision. The second negative speaker has tried to tell you that opt-out systems don't respect ethics and consent, but this speaker has given no evidence. Furthermore, studies published in the Lancet and BMC Medical Ethics highlight that opt-out models, when implemented with transparency and respect for choice, can actually enhance autonomy by normalising decision-making around donation without forcing participation. Ultimately, presumed consent does not equate to coercion. It simply shifts the default while still empowering individuals to choose. The second negative speaker has also tried to tell you that even though people support organ donation, they might actually not want to donate, but he has given no evidence for this point. He has also tried to tell you that people might not be aware that they're in the system, but successful opt-out countries make public education a legal and practical requirement. According to Wired.gov, in Wales, a national multimedia campaign ran before and after the law changed to opt-out in 2015, and public awareness rose to over 90%. A similar situation was in the Netherlands. Their 2020 switch to opt-out included letters sent to every citizen asking them to record their preference. No one was automatically added to the system without being notified. The second negative speaker has claimed that the opt-out system does not focus on families, but evidence shows families actually feel relieved to be in the opt-out system. Donate Life reports that 42% of families in Australia decline donations simply because they don't know what their loved one wanted. Under opt-out, that confusion is reduced. The NHS evaluation of Wales in 2017 found that families felt more confident making decisions after the change. The European Commission also concluded in the 2019 report that opt-out encourages more family discussions, reducing uncertainty at the time of death. So opt-out doesn't burden families, it supports them. I will now sum up my team's case. The first affirmative speaker has already proven that an opt-out system will save more lives. Right now, around 1,400 Australians are waiting for a transplant, and tragically, over 100 die before they get one. She has also explained that the opt-out system spreads awareness and education about the need for organ donations. The second affirmative speaker explained that many Australians who support donations simply don't have the time or awareness to register. She also showed that opt-out systems save millions and even billions of dollars. So, in conclusion, Madam Chairman, potential organ donors, ladies and gentlemen, we believe that Australia should implement an opt-out system for organ donation. Thank you.
I call upon the third negative speaker, Olivia Stavridis.
Good morning, Madam Chairperson, adjudicators, ladies and gentlemen. The topic for today's debate is that Australia should implement an opt-out system for organ donation. We, the negative team, believe this statement is undeniably false. For the sake of trust, for the sake of true consent, and for the sake of dignity, Australia must reject an opt-out system. The first affirmative speaker has tried to tell you that an opt-out system saves lives. But do you realise that presuming consent doesn't guarantee more lives being saved? It actually risks alienating people who feel their rights are being overridden. The UK introduced opt-out in 2020, yet studies show that increase in donations has been modest and largely linked to awareness campaigns, not the law itself. True consent means a deliberate, informed decision, not silence or inaction. Forcing participation undermines the moral value of donation. It becomes compliance, not generosity. The first affirmative speaker has also stated that an opt-out system raises more awareness, but have you considered a truly modern approach invests in public education, transparency and voluntary action? In fact, Australia's opt-in system has already seen record high consent rates in 2021 to 2022, following awareness campaigns from an OTA annual report. Progress means building trust, not bypassing it. The second affirmative speaker has attempted to rebut our first affirmative speaker by telling you that an opt-out system does not decrease donation rates and spoke about how successful Spain has been in the organ donation industry. However, this is incorrect, as Spain's success is due to hospital investment and transplant coordinators, not the law itself, from the World Health Organization in 2010. Countries like Sweden and Greece have opt-out, but lower donation rates than Australia. The law alone does not solve this shortage. Our first speaker, Teddy, has told you that there are far more people needing transplants than there are available organs. Simply switching to an opt-out system will not solve this. Evidence shows that the real barrier lies in family consent and hospital resources, not the number of people technically registered. For example, OECD health studies show that several opt-out countries do not have higher donation rates than opt-in countries because families often override the decision. So the system is ineffective at fixing the actual shortage. He also told you that consent and bodily autonomy donation must remain a gift. By automatically classing people as donors, unless they actively opt out, we risk weakening true consent and damaging public trust. As the Australian Medical Association has also pointed out, organ donation works best when it's voluntary and explicit. You've also heard from our second speaker, Isaac, that an opt-out system does not guarantee more organs, but it does guarantee less trust. Spain's success comes from its investment in hospitals, not from the law itself. More importantly, this policy undermines autonomy by assuming silence is agreement. It risks alienating Indigenous, religious and cultural communities while placing families under even greater strain at the most painful of times. Organ donation should be an act of generosity, freely chosen, not an act of compliance, forced by default. He has also told you that one of the most successful ways to increase organ donation and transplants is through the advancement of medical technology. Relying on an opt-out system ignores these breakthroughs and will soon be outdated. So, Madam Chairman, adjudicators, ladies and gentlemen, perhaps there is just one question you should ask yourself. Do you want the government to presume ownership of your body just because you stayed silent? Real generosity comes from choice, not assumption. That is why Australia must reject an opt-out system for organ donation. Thank you.
I call upon a representative of the adjudication panel to come forward and award the debate.
First of all, I'd like to congratulate everyone for getting here to the grand finals. You've gone through 3 rounds of grand finals and you've been top of the log throughout the season. So well done there. Incredible debates from both teams, and the standard of the debate was so high that it is in fact a split decision. I will confirm that none of the adjudicators will be giving any feedback since it is the grand final. And in the decision 2-3, the win goes to the affirmative team. Well done.
I call upon a member of the runner-up team to give a vote of thanks.
I'd just like to say a big thank you, big congratulations to Emmaus. You all did amazing, incredible points, incredible rebuttals. I personally loved the quotes at the end of each of your speeches. Thank you guys to our teammates, thank you to our mentors, Mr. Soriano, Ms. Kieran and Mr. Bury, who seated up there. Thank you to all parents on both sides of the debate who came and supported all of us. Thank you to our adjudicators. There wouldn't be a debate without you. Thank you to our chairperson and timekeeper. I reckon that's about it. And thank you to Parliament House for hosting this amazing event. Congratulations again, guys.
I call upon a member of the winning team to second that vote of thanks.
On behalf of my team, we would like to express our gratitude to everyone who made this debate possible. First, we extend respect to the other team. You were outstanding competitors and pushed us to give our very best. To all the adjudicators, thank you for your time, especially on a Saturday morning, and for the opportunity to speak in the Parliament of South Australia. Finally, to the audience, your presence and engagement added so much to the experience. Thank you.
Ladies and gentlemen, thank you for your attendance. I now declare this debate closed.